Whose thoughts, words, frameworks, concepts can really enable and equip you to live the life that you have always dreamt and aspired for. Fasten your seatbelts and get ready to soak your senses in this really captivating session, which will be led, maneuvered, and facilitated by Mr. Stephen M.R. Covey. The time is really short to describe a luminary like him, but a few highlights I think I must mention about him is that he's a New York Times and Wall Street Journal Times best-selling author. He's written this amazing book called The Speed of Trust, which has been translated into 22 languages and has sold 2 million copies worldwide. He's a co-author of #1 Amazon bestseller, Smart Trust. He brings perspective of a practitioner as he's the former president and CEO of the Covey Leadership Center, where he increased shareholder value 67 times and grew the company to become the largest development firm in the world. A Harvard MBA, Stephen co-founded and currently leads Franklin Covey's Global Speed of Trust practice. He's been recognized and conferred upon a Lifetime Achievement Award for top thought leaders in trust from the advocacy group Trust Across America and Trust Around the World. Stephen is a highly sought after international speaker who has taught trust and leadership in over 55 countries, to businesses, to government, to military, to education, to healthcare, and NGO entities. Stephen, my apologies if I'm missing something. The list is too long, but this is as brevity filled as I could make. I'm so excited to hear your perspective here. Welcome.
Wow, thank you, Ridima. I love that introduction. I'm so excited to be here with everyone for this master class. Good evening.
We're excited too.
Trust changes everything, not in small incremental ways, but in profound ways, and we all intuitively know it. My starting point today is that everybody on this webinar already is an expert on trust. I think it's inside of us. It is not enough to only be trustworthy. We also have to be trusting. And when we lead out in extending trust to our team, to our people, it invites a reciprocity and people receive it and they return it. Not only that, they are inspired by it. They rise to the occasion, they perform better, and they give it back to us. So we need to be trusting as leaders as well as trustworthy. Love this statement by Mahatma Gandhi. He says, I believe in trusting. Trust begets trust. Suspicion is fetid and only stinks. He who trusts has never yet lost in the world. It's a better way to lead. Again, use good judgment, be smart, but let's be trusting as well as trustworthy.
And his question is, what is the relationship between trust and respect? Can there be a scenario where you trust the person, but may not necessarily respect them? I found it really interesting.
Yeah, that is a very interesting question.
Yeah.
And as you saw, one of the key behaviors that helps build trust is to demonstrate respect. So they're very connected. They're very integral. And certainly as you demonstrate respect, that builds trust. And I will say that it also works in reverse. As you build trust with people, that's also a way of demonstrating respect to them.
Stephen, there is one question which has been asked copiously, which is about what happens if you have lost trust with someone? How do you restore lost trust?
Yeah, I probably get asked.
It could be with family, it could be with clients, it could be anywhere. To take on that.
Yeah. Ridima, this is probably the #1 question I get asked. You know, and before I go to the how, the first question really is this: can you restore trust if it's been lost? And here's my belief. I believe that in most cases you can, but perhaps not in every case.
Okay.
A lot depends upon kind of 3 factors. What is the nature of the loss of trust? It's harder to restore trust if the trust has been lost on the character side than it is on the competence side.
Thank you, Stephen, so much for answering each question in such a graceful, succinct, with giving so many examples and metaphors as you addressed each of those questions. Thank you so much.
You're
But
welcome.
there's another segment of this learning session, which is the fireside chat. And to facilitate this session and maneuver that segment, I'd like to call on our virtual stage a very dynamic CEO of a right selection thought leadership firm called Gautam Ganglani. So, Mr. Ganglani, if you could appear on our screen and take the reins of the next segment.
Thank you very much, Ridima and Stephen. First and foremost, Stephen, I must say I've attended over 50 virtual sessions in the last year. People have been questioning us to say that can virtual sessions add value? Can they add impact? We're missing the live events. Yes, I absolutely agree we're missing the live events. But this session has got to be one of the greatest sessions virtually that I've attended in the last year. And you have proven more beyond doubt in my mind, and I'm sure a lot of you agree with me from the comments I've been seeing in the chat box, that even a virtual session like today can not only be inspiring, thought-provoking, but it can drive action out of this.
Stephen, I don't think so. I have a high reputation to comment on what I witnessed in the last 3.5 hours, but I can tell you one thing. You spoke about character and competence, but I also saw a lot of other facets. One of the first facets I noticed about your talk is humility. The humility with which you talk, the humility with which you connect, the humility with which you try and understand if others are getting your perspectives or not. I don't think so. I have the stature to comment on your competence, but I have one observation. They say a great sign of competence is if you're able to convey something in a way that a 5-year-old can understand. And I think all the anecdotes, all the metaphors, and the simplicity with which you convey things really elucidates your diversity of experiences and depth of expertise. Thank you so much. I'm sure we're all walking away with a lot of insights. All right. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us today. This is your host, Ridima Wali, signing off till we see you on the other side sometime very soon. And remember, they say those who are learning are leading. So I'm sure you all are on a wonderful pursuit of leading, changing the world, and creating impact one day at a time. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen.